morning, welcome to today's ride. So the plan today is to ride about 50k. We're a little over 12 into that ride right now. Glorious day finally. It's been grey and horrible here in the UK all week. Really windy yesterday, on Saturday, and now Sunday finally. Blue skies. A little drafty still, but puts a smile on your face, you know. So, just wondering what everybody's motivation is to get out and cycle. I must admit, I'm in a completely different place this year to last year. This time last year I was indoors through till about March. As you know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I broke my back and I was getting stronger, ready to hit the road again. This year, however, having lost 5 stone last year, 30 kilos, rode the London 100, the London Essex 100, and had my cycling adventures really topped with a brilliant trip to Italy. Kind of found myself lacking motivation a little, and I don't mind admitting that after the Italian trip, like I say, I lost my mojo a little bit. Also became very complacent. I think we got back mid-September from that trip, and I think it's fair to say between then and Christmas I increased a stone or 6 kilograms in weight. I think I rode my bike outside about twice, 3 times maybe. Put it back on the trainer and really didn't ride much on the trainer either. So things have finally clicked post Christmas, and really needed to up my game and do something about it, find my mojo again. What have I decided to do about it? I think firstly and most importantly for myself is to lose that 6 kilograms and some, hopefully, that I put on. Those of you that have listened to the channel before know that I'm a big proponent of Slimming World in the UK. You can stock up on as many carbs as you like and eat all sorts of what they call free foods and limit the fats and the sugars essentially. When I'm on that and when I'm cycling, weight kind of falls off. Regularly losing almost a kilo a week, which for myself is I kind of consider to be a healthy weight loss, which is nice. So we're back on that, and I have an event, social event, in a couple of months' time. So I'm aiming to get back to the 5 stone or 30 kilos in time for that, and that's absolutely my motivation currently. Hopefully we'll go beyond that. Still got plenty of timber to lose, but we'll see how we go. That's the first goal. Motivated to do that. Tick. Right, next, let's talk about the cycling itself. This is mainly a cycling blog, I guess. So, given that generally speaking English winters are pretty shit, grey, wet, miserable, cold, and to be quite honest with you, I'm nearly 55 now, and I get little enjoyment in riding in the grey, wet and the cold. There are 2 things I could do, I guess. One, take a big pill of rule number 5. If you don't know what that is, just Google rule number 5. It's a big dose of HTFU. But, you know, in some circumstances fine, but generally speaking I'm a little bit long in the tooth for that, and maybe a bit of a wuss. Which takes us back to option number 2, and that's riding in the shed on some kind of trainer, using some kind of training software for myself, just to keep things vaguely interesting. I don't mind admitting that last year's Zwift, particularly in the first 3 months of the year, made a huge difference to my life. Got my fitness back, helped with the weight loss, said it before. But to be honest with you, riding the same routes, riding the same exercises, everything else can get pretty soul destroying, pretty boring. So this year, after riding Zwift for a few weeks, decided to shake it up a bit and try some of the other packages that are available on the market. And I landed on Rouvy. Now, Rouvy is a great mixture of augmented reality training. Basically, you select a ride, and you can ride it as a workout, you can ride it as a ride, but it's real footage with an avatar of yourself riding along. And whilst that doesn't sound too different to Zwift, it's not cartoon, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of different rides, different lengths, from all around the world, videoed in kind of full HDR that you can ride with. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. It's made a difference to me, and certainly helped get me back training indoors anyway. That leaves, what are we doing outdoors? Getting better on the bike itself and getting your mojo back for the bike. I mean, we're not stupid, we're all adults. I think we all know that the way to get better on the bike is to simply ride your bike. The more you ride, the better you get. It's the same as anything in life. If you want to get better at hills, you ride up hills. If you want to get better at sprints, you sprint more. Not rocket science. But there are two ways of going about it, I believe. I mean, firstly, just ride casually. Ride for the absolute pleasure of riding. Don't worry about going fast, don't worry about beating Strava segments, yada yada yada, power output, all that stuff we're kind of used to, yeah? The essence really of riding a bike is just getting on the bloody bike and riding a bike for pure enjoyment and fun. And really, without that, why are we bothering to do it at all? So just ride, just ride, just ride. Now the second way, I think, and the second way, I must admit, helps me out, is to set a few targets. So for myself, I like something to aim for. So I've re-entered the London Essex 100 again this year, so 100 miles. No desire to beat my time from last year. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So what? It's a day out, it's a long ride for me. And I just want to get fit enough to know that I will be able to get through that without issues, or too many issues. So that's number one. So that's encouraged me to get out and actually put the miles in on the road. As much as indoor training is good for your basic fitness, nothing compares to riding on the road. The second thing I've entered is a sportive in a month's time, the Wares Cambridge sportive. So unsurprisingly, leaves from the town of Ware, heads up towards the town of Cambridge and comes back again. 3 routes for that one. There's a 30, a 50 and an 80 mile route, I think. I'd like to think I'd be able to do the 80 mile route, but the 50 mile is my banker. And finally, I've also tentatively booked a couple of trips abroad this year, one in the Pyrenees and another in Italy. So looking forward to those, and that really is a motivation for getting fit. So those are the things that are motivating me to actually get out and ride. Enjoyment, just pure enjoyment, out with friends, riding for the sake of riding. Add a couple of targets that I'd like to get, or maybe 4 targets that I'd like to get kind of ticked off this year. That's what's driving me. Given everything I've talked about, I'm falling back in love with cycling proper now. And really that's what it's all about. I mean, particularly on a day like this. It's lovely, it's good for the soul, good for the mind, good for the fitness, good for the weight, good for everything else. Good for making YouTube videos, I guess. Slowly increasing distances. Every weekend now, for the past 3 weekends, I managed to get out, doing about 10k more. So like I said, aiming for 50k on this ride. 42k in already, so it shouldn't be a problem hitting the 50 before we get back home. Say we, I. But it's just a blessing to be out, being able to do this. It's really peaceful. Scenery's great. Snowdrops at the side of the road, Spring is here, soon be summer. What are your motivational hints, tips, reasons for cycling? How do you keep your mojo intact? What floats your boat, but that's kind of inappropriate. What keeps your wheels turning? Be really interested to know. I mean, please feel free to comment below. Also, if you're interested in the sporadic ramblings of another middle-aged man on a bike, please feel free to like and subscribe this video. Oh, that sounds really corny and I do apologise, but it'd be great to have you along. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and speak again sometime in the future. So 53.9 eventually. Happy days. This time really is goodbye.